Good morning, everybody. First of all, a little quiz for you. I'm going to play you a very short clip of music, and please do, in the comments below, write who you think this piece of music, this short little piece of music, if you recognise it. Where's it from? Where have you heard this before? Here we go. That's all you get. I say, type it in the comments below. Do you want that once more? We'll do it once more, just to help us out. Okay, here we go. That's all you get. Following Judge Riley's decisions, all 7 of them, it is ordered, it is further ordered and further ordered and further ordered. Guilties are more or less, and I've been saying this for a long time now, and irrelevant. They are irrelevant. They are now such an endangered species that, as far as I can see, they're all but extinct. I say completely irrelevant. They have nothing to offer. And if they did, they would have been in touch with Kathleen Zellner a long time ago. However, I would just like to point out that for those guilties that were guilties and are now beginning to see the nonsensical, the nonsense of chemocrats and the state and everybody, they're now beginning to see sense. By all means, come and join us. Do not, something that you should not be afraid of is this. I don't know of a fellow supporter out there who doesn't agree with the fact that, one, public opinion should not lock up an innocent person, but neither should it free guilty ones. We are not interested in trying to free guilty people. Yeah, we're truthers, but on other cases we have completely different opinions, and that's fine. On this there is no dubiety. Stephen Avery was framed. Brendan Dassey was coerced. Okay, so as I say, don't fear. Guilters, do not fear truthers. We're not in support of, as I say, loads of guilty people being set free. That is not where we're coming from. Now, most people that watch Making a Murder, particularly the first one, for the first time, their typical response to me is, something needs to be done. Why isn't there anything being done? Something needs to be done. Why isn't the president pardoning them? And I would say that the more important question would be, well, how did it happen in the first place? What went wrong in the first place? We're going to get onto that in a minute. Just before we go any further, I would just like to congratulate Eric Cozy on his video last night. I thought it was and I've actually sent him a message, but he'll be fast asleep. I sent him a message to say, really enjoyed your video last night. I didn't catch it live. I watched it this morning. There was something rather nice about having Eric Cozy to ourselves, if you know what I mean. Much as we like having people join in for chats, hell, I've done loads and loads of chats with Eric Cozy, but it was just nice to get Eric Cozy back, just him on the screen taking the chat, and I thought he did an excellent job of the whole chat. You know, you can really see how he's developed from when he first started, how things have progressed. and I would say, yeah, very, very good. He's coming on really well. Very, obviously, we're all very proud of him. But one of his favourite terms is wonky, and I want to talk a little bit about the wonkiness of this case. As I say, more important, how did it happen? Because of the wonkiness here. You've got law enforcement, you've got the Sheriff's Department. Clearly we've seen examples in John Farrak's book of where if a sheriff's officer, if he does something wrong, rather than being condemned and it being reported and being, you know, reprimanded, disciplined for it, Kasurik took the opinion, oh no, I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to have him in my pocket so that I can use him whenever I need him to do something that's not quite right. And of course, because the police department, the sheriff's department are acting in that way, they're being given a certain amount of leeway by the district attorney's office. The district attorney, Dennis Vogel, was quite happy to go with the prosecuting Stephen Avery, despite the fact that he knew that Gregory Allen should have been the main suspect. And of course it was explained to me that the reason why the district attorneys play loose with the rules is because they're allowed to by the judges. So you've got the police, they're doing things wrong, but the district attorneys are quite happy to let them get on with their wonkiness. You've got the district attorney's office exercising its skills in wonkiness, and then you've got the judges quite happy that you've got all this wonkiness going on because they themselves are wonky themselves. You've only got to look at Fox and Willis and now Super Witch to realise there's something terribly wrong. So I've got a list of things here which to me sort of shout out at me about things that we should not abide, that we should not tolerate, we should not put up with. And I don't want this to seem as if I'm criticising America and Wisconsin in general and Manitowoc in particular, but I would just point out that these things that I'm listed here would not have happened in any other country in the world. I was reminded of, I'll get to it shortly, the Stephen Drizzen tweet. Things that do not abide. Number one, conflict of interest. There should have been no trial due to that conflict of interest. That trial those trials would not have gone ahead here in the UK if there had been that conflict of interest. It would have been laughed out of court. No judge would have entertained the state. Secondly, Mike Holbach with his grieving process. Why on earth were the press not all over him about that and say, well, you need to explain further because that is just ridiculous? Again, it's the thing that actually caught Ian Huntley, the Soham murders, the fact that Maxine Carr referred to Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman in the past tense. The reporters immediately jumped on that, said to the police, you need to listen to this, and the whole, his whole charade fell apart after that. Point number three, not to do with the conflict of interest, but also the multiple searches and eventually finding evidence. That would not have, certainly in the UK, that would not abide. Number four, the obviously planted blood and DNA in the RAV. How does one leave blood, no fingerprints? How does one leave blood only in certain places? How does one leave DNA only in certain places? It would have been laughed out of court here. Number five, this is one that obviously Steve Drizzen tweeted about. The interrogation of Brendan Dassey. As he pointed out, policemen here in the UK were coming up to him after his shows and saying, Well, I'm a policeman. If I had behaved as Mark Wiegert and Tom Fassbender did, I would be out of my job. What did they do to Wiegert and Fassbender? Give them effing trophies and medals and applause for it. Which leads us on, of course, to the sweaty press conference. Again, that would have resulted in no trial going ahead. If any prosecutor had come out and done a press conference like Sweaty did, you can forget it. The trial would not have gone ahead. Point number 7. The hiding of the Veely CD. This idea that you can just hide something, you can keep it in your own personal storage for 12 years so that the defence don't have access to it. That was so deliberate in order to try and prevent, in order to ensure that Dean and Jerry had no Denny suspects. Again, that would be completely thrown out here in the UK. Number 8, seriously America, AEDPA, do you need it? What a farce. What an absolute knee-jerk reaction that has caused so much damage. And now, to top it all, item number 9 on my list, handing back the bones, destroying evidence. As I say, these are the things that should not abide, that people in Manitowoc, in Wisconsin, are having to put up with. Does it go on elsewhere? I don't know, probably. As I've said all along, hopefully we will get the outcome that this case will be looked back on in years to come as being the one that changed, the one that made serious change. In that sense, yes, public opinion would be and is very, very helpful. Anyway, I think I've kept you long enough, and there's some cricket on the telly for me to go and watch, so catch you later. Mind and post in the comment if you recognise that short clip of music. It'd be interesting to see how many of you do recognise it. Bye for now.